you all are fit and fine at your places. I'm Priyanka Bish from RN Progressive School. In today's session, we will be solving some numerical questions based on accounting equation. As in the previous classes also, we have solved various numerical questions based on accounting equation, and in today's class, we will solve some more questions based on different transactions. So the question which we will be solving in today's session is, show the effect of the following transaction on the accounting equation. First, Manoj started business with cash amounting to rupees 2,30,000, goods rupees 1 lakh, building rupees 2 lakh. Second, he purchased goods for cash amounting to rupees 50,000. He sold goods for cash costing 20,000 for rupees 35,000. He purchased goods from Rahul rupees 55,000. He sold goods to Varun costing rupees 52,000 for 60,000. He paid cash to Rahul in full settlement 53,000. Salary paid by him 20,000. Received cash from Varun in full settlement 59,000. Rent outstanding 3,000. Prepaid insurance 2,000. Commission received by him 13,000. Amount withdrawn by him for personal use 20,000. Depreciation charged on building rupees 10,000. Fresh capital invested 50,000 and purchased goods from Rakhi 6,000. So we have to show all these transactions in accounting equation. So coming to the solution part, this is the format of accounting equation. First column will be of serial number, then transaction, then we will write the equation asset is equal to liabilities plus capital. Now the first transaction is Manoj started business with cash, goods and building amounting to rupees 2,30,000, rupees 1 lakh and rupees 2 lakh respectively. Now, we will show this transaction in equation. We know the business has been started with cash, goods and building. All these three items comes in the category of asset. So, we will open a column of cash, then stock and then building. We know the amount invested in business is considered as capital also. So, with this amount, 2,30,000, 1 lakh and 2 lakh, we will add this amount and we will write this amount as capital. Now, cash is rupees 2,30,000, stock amounting to rupees 1 lakh and building 2 lakh rupees. Now, if we add these value, we get the total amount 5,30,000. So, 5,30,000 will be considered as capital. Now, next transaction is he purchased goods for cash. Purchased goods for cash amounting to rupees 50,000. Now, goods has been purchased. That means there is an inflow in asset as stock and it is purchased for cash. That means there is an outflow of cash. So, we will deduct this amount from cash 50,000 and we will add the same amount in the stock column. So, by this we will get a new equation here. 2,30,000 minus 50,000 is 1,80,000. Stock amounting to rupees 1,50,000. Building 2 lakh rupees and capital remains the same 5,30,000. Now the third transaction is He sold goods for cash costing 20,000 for 35,000. Now, goods costing rupees 20,000 is sold for rupees 35,000. Now here goods has been sold. Goods costing 20,000 has been sold. That means there is outflow of asset as stock. So we will deduct this amount from stock column, 20,000, and it has been sold for rupees 35,000. That means by selling 20,000 goods, we will receive a cash amounting to rupees 35,000. So 35,000 will be added in the cash column because we are receiving this cash by selling goods costing to rupees 20,000. Now 20,000 goods has been sold for 35,000. That means the firm has earned a profit of rupees 15,000. So that profit will be added in capital column. We know whatever income which is earned by the firm, it is added in the cash as well as capital column, and expenses are deducted from cash and capital column. And if the firm is earning profit by selling goods, that profit will be added in capital column. So by solving these two equations, we will get a new equation here where cash is amounted to rupees 2,15,000, stock rupees 1,30,000, building rupees 2 lakh, and capital amounting to rupees 5,45,000. Now here, fourth transaction is he purchased goods from Rahul 55,000. Now, purchased goods from Rahul amounting to rupees 55,000. Now, goods has been purchased from Rahul. Cash is not mentioned in the transaction. That means it is considered that goods has been purchased from Rahul on credit. Now, here goods purchased means there is inflow of stock in the business amounting to rupees 55,000. So we will add this amount in stock column, 55,000, and it has been purchased from Rahul. That means we have to make the payment to Rahul in future. So Rahul will be the creditor for us. So creditors column will be opened in liabilities side amounting to rupees 55,000. Solving these two equations, we will get a new equation here. Cash will be the same, 2,15,000. Goods amounting to rupees 1,85,000. Building will remain the same, 2 lakh rupees. Creditors amounting to rupees 55,000 and capital 5,45,000. Now fifth transaction is sold goods to Varun costing rupees 52,000 for rupees 60,000. Goods sold to Varun 52,000 for rupees 60,000. Now here in this transaction, goods amounting to rupees 50,000 has been sold. That means there is decrease in the value of stock by 52,000. So we will deduct 52,000 from stock column, and these goods have been sold for 60,000. Now it is not mentioned in the transaction that these goods are sold to Varun for cash. So we will assume that the goods have been sold to Varun for credit. So now we will receive this payment 60,000 in future from Varun. That means if we have to receive cash, it comes in the category of asset, and we have to receive from Varun. Varun will be the debtor. So we will open a debtor column on asset side debtors amounting to rupees 60,000 because we have to receive this payment from Varun. Now, 52,000 goods have been sold for rupees 60,000. That means there is a profit of rupees 8,000. That profit will be added in capital column. Now by solving these two equations, we will get a new equation here where cash remains the same, 2,15,000. Goods amounting to rupees 1,33,000. Building 2 lakh rupees. Debtors 60,000. Creditors amounting to rupees 55,000 and capital amounting to rupees 5,53,000. Now here I have carried forward the last equation where cash is amounting to rupees 2,15,000, stock 1,33,000, buildings amounting to rupees 2 lakh, debtors 60,000, creditors 55,000 and capital 5,53,000. Now next transaction is paid cash to Rahul in full settlement. Paid cash to Rahul in full. This is the sixth transaction, settlement. Now, cash has been paid to Rahul. Rahul, who was a creditor, we have to pay Rahul rupees 55,000, but Rahul has agreed to receive 53,000. That means the payment which was to be made was 55,000, but that payment is now settled with 53,000. So cash of rupees 53,000 has been paid. So we will deduct 53,000 from cash. Our creditors is now nil because we have paid to the creditors according to him, because he has agreed to receive only 53,000 instead of 55,000. That means now there will be no amount of credit left with us. Our creditors were amounting to rupees 55,000 and we have paid only 53,000. That means we have gained a profit of rupees 2,000. That 2,000 will be added in capital column. So by solving these equations, we will get a new equation here where cash amounting to rupees 1,62,000, stock 1,33,000, buildings rupees 2 lakh, debtors amounting to rupees 60,000, creditors 0 and capital amounting to rupees 5,55,000. Now next transaction is salary paid. Salary paid amounting to rupees 20,000. So salary is an expense and expense is deducted from cash as well as capital column. So we will deduct 20,000 from cash column and 20,000 from capital column. By solving these equations, we will get a new equation here where cash is amounting to rupees 1,42,000. Stock remains same, 1,33,000. Building rupees 2 lakh and debtors amounting to rupees 60,000. And in the liabilities column, creditors 0, 5,35,000 is amount of capital. Now, next transaction is received cash from Varun in full settlement. Received cash from Varun in full settlement amounting to rupees 59,000. So as we know, Varun was our debtor. We have to receive 60,000, but we have received only 59,000 from Varun. 59,000 has been received in cash, so we will add this amount in cash column, 59,000. Now, we were supposed to receive 60,000, but we have received only 59,000. So, there is a loss of rupees 1,000. This loss will be deducted from capital column. Now, by solving these equation, we will get a new equation here, where cash is amounted to rupees 2,01,000, stock 1,33,000, building 2 lakh rupees, debtors nil, creditors nil, and capital amounted to rupees 5,34,000. Next transaction is rent outstanding rupees 3,000. Rent outstanding rupees 3,000. Now, rent outstanding means the rent which we have not paid, which is due. So, the amount which is due is considered as liability. So, we will open a new column here in the liability side. Outstanding expense. Here we have to pay the rent. Rent is due. It is not being paid yet. Rent is amounted to rupees 3,000. So we will record this amount in outstanding expense. At the same time, this amount will be deducted from capital because we have not paid rent yet, but we will pay that rent amount in future. So it is an expense. Expenses are always deducted from capital. So by solving this equation, we will get a new equation here, where cash is rupees 2,01,000, stock 1,33,000, building rupees 2 lakh, debtors nil, outstanding expenses 3,000, creditors nil, and capital amounted to rupees 5,31,000. This is the new equation. Now, next transaction is prepaid insurance amounting to rupees 2,000. Prepaid insurance means the amount of insurance we have paid in advance. So it is a kind of prepaid expenses. Prepaid expenses are considered as current asset. So we will open a new column here on asset side by prepaid expenses column. Now here, prepaid insurance means we have paid the insurance amount in advance. So this amount has been paid in cash. So we will deduct 2,000 from cash and we will record this amount in the new column, which is prepaid expenses. Now by solving this equation, we will get a new equation where cash will be amounted to rupees 1,99,000, stock 1,33,000, building rupees 2 lakh, prepaid expenses 2,000, outstanding expenses 3,000, no amount of creditors, and capital amounting to rupees 5,31,000. This is the new equation. Now, next transaction is commission received. Commission received. Commission received is rupees 13,000. Now 13,000 commission is received in cash. This is considered as income, and we know income are always added on cash column as well as capital column. So commission is received in cash amounting to rupees 13,000. We will add this amount in cash column and the same amount will be added in the capital column also. So by solving this equation, we will get the amount of cash 2,12,000, stock 1,33,000, building 2 lakh, debtors 2,000, Outstanding expenses 3,000, creditors nil, and capital amounting to rupees 5,44,000. Now next transaction is amount withdrawn for personal use, which is also considered as drawings. So drawings is amounted to rupees 20,000. So drawing is also a kind of expense for the firm because this is the amount which is withdrawn by the owner of the firm for his personal use. So we will deduct this amount from cash column as well as capital column. Now your new equation will be $1,92,000 cash, 1,33,000 stock, building 2 lakh rupees, prepaid expenses 2,000, outstanding expenses 3,000, creditors nil, and 5,24,000 capital. So I have carried forward the last equation here where cash is amounted to rupees 1,92,000, stock rupees 1,33,000, building rupees 2 lakh, debtors nil, prepaid expenses 2,000, outstanding expenses 3,000, creditors 0, and capital 5,24,000. Now the 13th transaction is depreciation charged on building. Depreciation on building rupees 10,000. So depreciation means reduction in the value of fixed assets because of its continuous use. So here the value of building is reduced by 10,000. So we will deduct this amount 10,000 from building column, and this 10,000 will also be deducted from capital because depreciation is considered as an expense for the firm. So by solving this equation, we will get a new equation here where cash is amounted to rupees 1,92,000, stock 1,33,000, building rupees 1,90,000, debtors 0, prepaid expenses 2,000, outstanding expenses 3,000, creditors 0, and capital 5,14,000. Now 14th transaction is fresh capital invested. Fresh capital invested. So here new capital invested rupees 50,000. That means 50,000 cash has been received by the firm. So here 50,000 will be added in cash column as well as capital column. So by solving this, we will get a new equation where cash will be amounted to rupees 2,42,000, stock 1,33,000, building 1,90,000, debtors 0, prepaid expenses 2,000, outstanding expenses 3,000, creditors 0, and capital amounted to rupees 5,64,000. Now the last transaction is purchased goods from Rakhi. 15th transaction, purchased goods from Rakhi. Amount is rupees 6,000. Now here goods have been purchased from Rakhi. It is not mentioned in the transaction that these goods have been purchased in cash. So we will assume that goods has been purchased from Rakhi on credit. So purchase of goods means there is increase in the value of stock by 6,000. So we will add 6,000 in stock column. And we have purchased it from Rakhi. Rakhi is our creditor now. So our creditor has been increased with the amount 6,000. So by solving this equation, we will now get a final equation here where cash is amounted to rupees 2,42,000, stock 1,39,000, building 1,90,000, debtors 0, prepaid expenses 2,000, outstanding expenses 3,000, creditors 6,000 and capital 5,64,000. So this is the final equation now. If we will add asset column and liabilities and capital column, we will get the equal amount here. That means the equation will be balanced here. Asset side total will be equal to the total of liabilities and capital side. So this is how we will solve the question based on accounting equation with all these transactions. So with this, we have completed the topic of accounting equation. In the next session, we will start some new topic of accountancy. That's all for today. Thank you.